Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining me once again for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. I'm your host, Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, sensuality consultant, sex educator, and life coach. Today, the topic is don't throw that orgasm away. So, does everybody know what a refractory period is? The refractory period, in case you didn't know, is the time that is necessary for a man to regain the erection from one erection to another. Now, the refractory period for young men, very, very young, like teenagers up until 19, 20 years old, is a very short time. They could actually have an orgasm, one orgasm, and then maybe the next half an hour, 45 minutes later, have another orgasm, get hard and do it again. And then maybe another hour or two later, again and again. Well, that's for that time in life. As men get older, the refractory period actually grows. So say a guy in his early 20s, he has, maybe a few hours. Maybe a guy in his 30s, he has a day between one orgasm and the other. And then maybe in his 40s, he has a couple of days. And this all really depends on his diet and what kind of sleep he gets and what kind of stress he's under. So we're saying optimal conditions. So in his 50s, it might be like once a week or once, every 10 days. And then in his 60s, even more than that. So this topic today is don't throw that orgasm away. It's really important to remember that when you are learning how to have orgasm, if you have it quickly in the beginning, then you're basically throwing that one away. And what a lot of guys do is they figure, well, I could do it then, I can do it when I get older. And if they throw the first one away, within a little while, they're able to get another semi-hard erection and then have intercourse that lasts considerably longer because they've thrown off the initial tension. Now, I got to tell you, that's a very, very bad idea. You're never, ever showing up with your A game when you throw the first orgasm away. The first erection has all the hardness that it needs to be actually a very exciting and efficient tool within that vagina and along the shaft, along her clitoral shaft. So if he has thrown it away, semi-hard penis cannot work in the same way that the very erect penis works. Now, healthy young men can have multiple orgasms in a single night. But as I just said, you definitely lose that ability as you get older. And if you are relying on the thrown away orgasm, you can never really have the most intense orgasm either. Orgasm is the most intense when you put time and energy into it. And if you've gotten the first one out of the way in less than 5 minutes, that was the one that would have been the most explosive, the one that would have definitely knocked your socks off had you held on to the stimulation longer. So it's really a good idea to establish good habits in the beginning of your sex life. And for those guys who have been having sex for a while and understand that, there's no going back to that, there is. You can actually reteach yourself the habit of orgasm. It's called the squeeze technique. It's something that takes a couple of weeks to make happen, but you can reteach your body what it takes to hold back so that you can actually have a more intense orgasm. And believe me, it's so much more satisfying for you and for your partner if you know how to hold back. Now, as I've mentioned in other programs, orgasm is not necessarily obvious with ejaculate, okay? Sometimes an orgasm can be had without ejaculate, and that's a very powerful orgasm because it cycles the energy through your body, and you can peak like that again and again. There are books. One of them is The Multi-Orgasmic Male. So if you really, really want to learn how to be this phenomenal lover who has full control of his body and the ability to please his partner by having the control, the respect, the knowledge, and the care that it takes to satisfy your partner first, and then to have his own orgasm. Learning how to hold back is really, real important. Throwing the orgasm away is not going to last for you for a lifetime, certainly not in your 40s and 50s and 60s. If you want to have quality sex all of your life, learn to have quality sex from the beginning instead of allowing any of them to just get away from you. Learn how to hold back, teach yourself how to hold on to that initial erection and to release it when you want it, because the first erection is the strongest, the hardest, and the one that is the best. As I've mentioned, there are lots of books on this subject. I cannot cover all of this in 25 words or less, but I hope you will investigate this. It's masturbation at its finest. It's holding back and really feeling what's going on inside your arousal, and learning to kind of bring yourself back from the brink, back and back. Each time you reach that brink, bring yourself back. And then when you finally do allow yourself to have the orgasm, it is going to be so much more intense. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do have any questions, my email address, ypi69@hotmail, is scanning along the bottom. If you need my services as life coach, I'm really good at listening and at giving guidance. I've actually got certification through Brave Thinking Institute. So it's not just from life experience, it's being able to listen to people and help them navigate some of the areas of their lives that they're having a couple of problems with. Thank you so much for joining me today. Fellas, do your Kegels. That will help you to learn how to control your ejaculate. Ladies, do your Kegels so that you are much more able to have a vaginal orgasm, and do them daily, because pleasure is something that you can practice and you deserve, and sexual release is extremely healthy for you. Rather than leaving you in a desperate place, it's leaving you in a relaxed, feeling good place. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you again next week for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. Thanks for joining me. See you next week. Bye for now.